Everybody to this another special episode of Mog Talk, Mog Discussions, whatever we're doing midweek here with shows. You can see Saren's already so excited to be on this show, just fucking regretting every...
I got shit in my eye, man.
It's alright.
I'm good.
It's alright, it's alright. But we threw this show together because there's something that's been ongoing for a little bit. If you guys are unfamiliar with what we do here, we just kind of talk and we discuss things and topics and whatnot. I'm Frosty. Before we start, let's go ahead and make sure these two introduce themselves so you know who the other two guests are. Serenaya, you tell everybody who you are?
Yo, yeah, I'm Serenaya. Frosty will get my name right one day. Not today, apparently.
Senor Naya.
I'm that angry EU raider you see around Twitch sometimes, otherwise known as EU Xeno on occasion for some reason.
Okay.
And yeah, man, I'm here to mold it out and feel better.
Okay, just
no, I'm just kidding.
Vent.
I'm just kidding. But
it's okay,
yeah,
we can
hi.
vent.
What's up?
You know, it's alright. And I brought on someone who's new to the Final Fantasy XIV community, a WoW raider. Llamatodd, could you tell everybody real quick who you are? So they probably aren't familiar with you.
Why, yes. I'm a priest in the Only Fangs Guild on Defias Pillager, the hardcore classic WoW server. That's right. So pretty much you can invalidate all my opinions since I play WoW. I don't play Final Fantasy XIV.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm just here to chime in and
give us the WoW perspective.
Yeah, an outsider perspective.
Oh gosh, Homicide, it's great to have you back. I always love having you on the show, man. You know, Serenaya, you're great to have on here too. And
Good to see you, man.
You know, this is one of these things that kind of came up throughout this week. Just, you know, not just this week, every fucking week, it comes up.
Been years, mate.
It's every time that there's a post. Every time there's an opinion, every time there's something that might be criticism in some way.
Oh, sure.
It feels like it's kind of difficult from time to time. And during our talk, I'll probably have some devil's advocate opinions here that I think are worthwhile. Sure. But in general, there's been a struggle with giving criticism to Final Fantasy XIV, or at least that's what I've seen. How do you guys feel about that? I assume you feel the same way because you're on this show, but what's been your experiences with this so far?
I mean, I get it. Like, it's... I think it's just always been a thing just because people get very attached to their character or to the game.
Mm-hmm.
And in my experience, just some people, they feel like it's a personal attack. Any criticism, whether valid or not, or whatever it is, like they just take it so personally, and they feel they have to respond, or they're just blindly accepting like whatever the game gives us. And it's like, well, this is just how it is, so you better like it.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing I think is when Final Fantasy got the spotlight, when all the WoW people coming over and like has been playing, it's like, what are they going to think of our game? You know, like they're just like waiting to see people's reactions. So like that's like an ongoing thing too. It's like, well, people better react a certain way, or like to the story, or they better like this, or better like that. And they get mad when content creators don't act a certain way too. It's like I've seen a lot of that, and I've actually even spoken to a few Blizzard or WoW content creators at BlizzCon, and like they've kind of let me know, like, well, it can be a bit of a turnoff when, let's say they reach a point in the story, and it's like, well, they don't react according to how
they're not crying.
they're not crying, or yeah, I mean, if they skip a cutscene, it's like if they're not playing a certain way or doing a certain thing, it's like, well, it's like you're doing it wrong, basically.
Okay.
Or and people in the WoW community are used to openly criticizing their own game, and it's normal and it's healthy. Like they all know certain things are really bad, and they all complain, and it's fine. That's a very normal thing to do. But I think in Final Fantasy, everyone has to walk on eggshells about it. It's like, well, you better not criticize the game at all.
Okay. I mean, that's kind of. I feel like I've been seeing that a lot, and I do feel like the Final Fantasy XIV community is way more defensive than the WoW community. I think mostly because the WoW community is just used to shitting on their game. That's the normal. It's normal to talk bad about WoW. Not a lot of people, I think, they say a lot of good things about WoW, to be honest with you. Even though there's good things there, that's not their focus. It's always the negative side of things. On Final Fantasy XIV, it's like the opposite.
Critical discussion should be welcomed. And I think for the most part, like, we've got level-headed people in the 14 community. I think it's just a small vocal minority of tribalists, especially on Twitter. There's like a Twitter mob that just loves to respond and jump on this crap. So it seems worse than it is.
I don't know if I would call it a Twitter mob. I'd call it a YouTube mob. I'd call it a handful of different mobs out there. There's a Twitch mob, but they just don't go to your channel, so they're not there mobbing you at that time.
Oh no, they're definitely not on my channel.
Right. It's the general social media mob that's out there.
The social media mob. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Saren, sorry, I haven't gotten your thoughts on it.
No, you're good, man. I mean, like, I don't know where to start, really. Like, I mean, I think it has to be said to start with, like, it's not just this game. Like, it's everywhere. But, you know, we put, I mean, I have nearly 27,000 hours in the game. You know, too much. And, you know, I've seen a lot of shit. So, you know, like, you know, I noticed this game far more than any other, obviously. And people, you know, people blindly accept and valiantly defend anything they are overly passionate about. Like, we were talking about this before we started, but like, take like the whole like cyberpunk situation when that released, and there were like journalists getting death threats and stuff from players who were just blindly accepting the absolute state the game was in, and things like that. You know, like stuff like this is nothing new. Like, it's not it's not like we're acting surprised here. But I think people need to realize that, like, there's a reason people complain, and it's literally because we care. You know, I've said this 100 times by now.
That's
you know, I'm quite loud on Twitter. I'm loud on Twitter. You know, like, just bouncing off of what Llamatodd said, you know, we have our opinions. It's normal to criticize. It's not an attack. It's because we want the game to be better. Like, the things we want are a net positive for the game that benefit you as well.
And these hypocrites forget, if we didn't complain about 1.0, we wouldn't have a Rummer Born.
These hypocrites forget.
Like, come on.
They weren't here at 1.0, dude. What are you talking about? They don't know.
On a very core level, like, that's completely true. And, you know, if we want to talk about WoW, like, why did WoW get better again? It wasn't just because Blizzard decided, hey, the game is bad. It's because, like, the game started losing a lot of people. Due to problems that were saturating the ground, so to speak.
Yeah. Well,
and I think, like, a decade into the lifespan, basic things, like, to bring Llamatodd's most recent tweet up, like the netcode.
Oh god.
Like the like uptick in cheating and things like that. Like, I mean, that's another topic entirely. I'm not going to get into that.
Because cheating for a title is, you know.
But you know, things like this have been around for such a long time, and it's always been a problem. And sure, you can call it just part of the charm of the game, but I think there comes a point where something has to change.
So,
and I think it's just not a good idea to just sit there and attack people that are literally the voices behind wanting change.
So, I mean, I disagree with Todd a good bit on some things, right? I disagree with Saren on some things. Like Fall Guys, you know, just in general, I don't give a shit about a lot of things, to be honest with you. I don't care about titles, I don't care about mounts, I don't care about glamour. Obviously, if you ever see my character, I don't care about those things like at all. And I've had the experience, you know, on the opposite side of where like Feast was destroyed due to the conversation of like cheating and everything else, and like if you ever played it, you would see every once in a while someone being fishy or suspicious or anything, but people legitimately played it. People who are at winning the top, of course, there's probably a handful of people out there who won their first place or whatever, not legitimately, but a lot of people who do get it legitimately and things like that. But no one ever wanted to fucking touch Feast because, like, just all of this conversation and stuff happened around it. And that does add a fear in, hey, we're voicing this negative opinion out there. If I'm voicing this negative opinion, is it going to kill the content just fucking making everybody kind of assume it? I have a lot to say about the Fall Guys stuff, but I'm going to try to, like, not go into it too much.
Okay.
But
I mean, I think it's a great example because it's like the most lukewarm, tepid take ever, and people lost their minds.
Yeah. It's people have gone like I say stuff every once in a while and I think they're very just haha, this is funny, stupid comments.
Anymore. I'm unfollowing.
And it's done. It's like I'm a horrible person, I shouldn't exist. And this thing has been scarred in my head, and I bring it up almost every single time these kind of conversations happen, is that I literally posed a question once on Twitter about who do you think's going to die in the next expansion? That's it. Who do you think's going to die? I didn't say anything. I just asked a question. And then someone said Thancrit, right? Someone said Thancrit was going to die in the next expansion. And then I got blamed for bringing that up as a topic, as a possibility of something happening, and then blocked.
Well, I think next time Ishtola just falls asleep for plot armor, someone just takes a pillow and just kind of... All right.
I mean, I've been saying it for a while, man. Like, I think...
Day asleep.
Look, okay, I guess now is the time for big takes, so here we go.
Sure.
Like, I think the story needs to stop pandering so much and just start killing off scions more often.
Oh, yeah.
I prefer stories, personally, that have some impact. And I don't see a lot of impact in people just being arbitrarily brought back over and over again. It just kind of... It takes some of the emotion out of it, you know? And, I'm not a big MSQ watcher. I've watched, like, the majority of it sort of in my own time or on alts. Not a lot of people will believe that, but it is true. And it just kind of gets lost on me, man. It's not that I think... that they should do it on purpose. It's just that, if the time is right, then maybe that's a good idea. Like, this game is darker than a lot of people think it is.
Yeah. But it's darker to the side characters that don't have
the lore behind the cities and stuff is not good. Like, it's pretty dire, but that's good. Like, that's impact, that's emotion. That makes you take a side in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And so, just to get back to the point, it's okay to have discussions. It's okay to engage about things that you don't agree with. Like, no one is against discussion. People are just against, this
hateful backlash of a opposite
taking
opinion.
It personally at every opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, we're attacking, your character. You need to detach yourself from the game a bit and realize that it is a game and that things you care about will have flaws. And it's okay to talk about that.
Some of these people have only ever played Final Fantasy 14. And it definitely, it's like in other fandoms and stuff too. Like, there's like FF7, if you talk about anything in there, especially ships is a thing. People get riled up over ships. I don't want to talk about that stuff, but that's another sore spot.
Wait a minute, are you talking about relationships? Or
yes.
Ships? Oh, okay.
Shipping.
Because I was thinking airships, because that's where my mind goes.
No. That's a huge thing. I think in many games, where people get pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not really a criticism. That's just just having a discussion about possibilities. Not really complaining about the game.
So, where I think a lot of this frustration comes from with the community and everything else is that there's not a lot of communities that pride themselves on the success and like the underdog story that Final Fantasy XIV sort of had in a way, right? Where it fought really hard. We all want to support them. We don't want it to fail. Anyone who's doing anything that might make it fail in some way, even in conversation, seems like a threat. And I feel like people feel attacked when that happens. Because, again, it becomes part of their personality. It becomes part of who they are. I mean, Final Fantasy XIV is part of who I am. I mean, it's a part of who you guys are, too. Right? It's literally a huge part of your lives. But it's something that we still need to trim off. You know, when a plant's growing, you got to like trim off all the stuff that is hurting the plant to make it grow and be better overall, right? So if you just ignore it and let it be, then it's gonna screw itself over. And so I think I don't know if that's a good analogy, but just fucking I'm running with it. I think so many people are afraid that negative opinions towards Final Fantasy XIV is going to do damage to it.
Yeah.
I mean, there was that slide from that panel years ago, right? I think it's from like 2014, where they literally said like a complaint is worth twice a compliment or something like that. I can't remember exactly what panel that was. It was many years ago, but like I think more people need to see that.
Yeah,
and, you know, it feels weird having to say basic things like it's okay to criticize a game.
It feels weird.
Yeah, you know, it's you know,
Well, I get weirded
I just
out.
want. Go on.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, that's all right, man. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Oh, okay. Man, it's gone. No.
It's gone. It's gone. It's gone.
I just really the best outcome is, I'll probably reiterate this later, but the best outcome is like more of a sense of unification in terms of, because like this game has a huge void, right? You know, there's all the people on one side that, you know, get the pitchforks out when you say anything, and then there's the people on the other side, like us and other people who, you know, have some bad things to say. But we can take an interview with the Oshipi as an example of this around the 2-minute meta. Like, don't worry, I won't go into that discussion.
Okay, all right, let's do it. 2-minute meta. We can't do a mock talk about it.
And he said that, you know, some people wanted this and some people didn't. And so for us to want to change this again, like, we need the community to come together with like a more unified response. Because we want to do like what's best for the game.
Well,
and it's funny because it's like even they understand that there are kind of two halves. And at that point, I think, you know, I think the devs just need to like just make their own choice at that point.
Yeah. I mean, there's a huge conversation.
I'm in the camp of hating 2-minute meta, but like at the end of the day,
it's hard for me to talk on it because I'm extremely biased too. Like I'm in the camp of have very unique jobs that are broken and people don't take in the rating because they're just not really good jobs and they're just underperforming, and give us very unique jobs to play with because that's more fun. And I think we should center around our Warrior of Light being able to flex a lot easier than it can right now as well. And, you know, I think that should be the focus of development going forward, is having multiple choices of different jobs, and these are different specs that you could pick in and play with. I mean, WoW has 1 billion specs, right? It has a handful of jobs, 2 to 3 specs, whatever, each job. But some of them are just shit. People don't play it, right? And that's okay because it adds some level of having fun, balancing, changing, having to figure out stuff, and going forward. But people don't like that take. People do like the take of, I'm playing a paladin, I should be able to play a paladin. I want to be a paladin within Final Fantasy XIV and not be discriminated. Although that's already happening, as I saw just the other day when I joined a party and for some reason they don't want to bring a job because they feel like everyone who plays a black mage is likely going to be bad at the game. So
Really weird.
Yeah, it's and you know what was so weird about that is that so many people agree with that take. Not that like just one person said it and you're like, wow, that's weird that they're doing it. It's that so many people are like, yeah, fuck black mages. That's so weird to me. Why are there so many people who have that kind of opinion in a game where we're so homogenized and there's not really that many interesting things out there for our jobs? But people are so strong in their opinions right now, and they feel like they shouldn't have to allow black mages in their group. Anyways, sorry, I veered off again.
That's okay. It's okay, Frosty.
I get emotional sometimes when people are
how dare you
mean to other people for no reason. But go ahead, Todd.
Well,
we went off.
No, you're
there.
good.
Yeah,
no, it's okay. We'll get back on track. But like,
yeah,
kind of to that point about just getting emotional, like people like on social media, like they would like, instead of arguing with you or like offering a counterpoint, they would just complain like how you're breaking like the message to everyone. They're like, well, you're saying it wrong, or you're not properly discussing this, like, or you're not going through the right channels. I'm like, what? Like, what? Do I have to submit a form or something? Like, what do I have to do? Like, do I have to fill out something first? Like, for you, like, who has to approve of a tweet? And like, I got a lot of those on my recent like netcode thing, my netcode tweet, where it's like, well, you're just not saying it the right way. I'm just complaining on Twitter. Like,
to be fair,
it's not an official capacity. Like, if I really wanted to, I would just go on the official forums, and yeah, I would. Okay, all right. Here's my.
Do you have access to the forums?
Enter. I don't. Probably not anymore. Yeah. All tweets have to be approved and signed off by Cleese, apparently. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't go through the Final Fantasy White Knight proofreading process.
Oh, is Cleese the White Knight? Is that? I didn't know that.
I don't know. I mean, maybe he's like the PR. So it's like, well, this will rile some people up just enough, so we'll let it pass.
Yeah. And sorry, anyone that's watching this, there's going to be a lot of ranting in this. Okay. And
no, don't apologize.
There's going to be a lot. This isn't going to be
this is the thing that Final Fantasy creators have to do all the time. It's like we say one thing and then we're like, well, actually, it's okay. It's okay if we do it this way. It's all right. No, just fucking state your truth. All right? State your fucking truth. We don't need to like tiptoe.
I think the worst part about that is like, if I have an opinion on Twitter, God forbid.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, people disagree with it. Like maybe it gets some traction, which sometimes it does, especially when I'm molding my tits off.
Oh, okay.
Like I think the worst bit is like, it's not even the fact that like people just start attacking you. Because look, I am fine with discussion. I'm fine with disagreeing.
Oh, yeah, me
I don't
too.
say things on Twitter thinking everyone's gonna agree with me. Like absolutely not. Like I am not an agreeable person sometimes. 100%. However, when you then like when people like give you shit for like your bad take, like in a reply, and then like you come into like my stream or something, and then you start like attacking me in chat, which has happened. And then they fucking like protect their tweets, they like delete their replies.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Like, man, at least stand by what you say.
No.
Like
it's
like actually own what you say, please.
Oftentimes they don't have an answer either. They don't even have an answer.
Like, I don't know, man.
It turns into a personal attack like instantly. It's name calling or something personal. It's never like a counterpoint or like, because like, yeah, exactly. I would rather have a discussion with someone like, all right, well, what's your point of view? If I say this one thing that you disagree with, don't just call me a twat or I'm the most least unimportant person on earth or I'm having a midlife crisis. Like, say something that, all right, that let's just have a discussion about it. Like, okay, well, instead of insulting me or blaming something else, it's like, well, tell me why you like something. Had someone said, well, you know what? I kind of like the netcode because I enjoy slide casting. I'm like, oh, slide casting can be nice. That is, you know, a product of the servers. You don't get that in other games because it's very snappy and other games, if you move at 99% of the cast, it's going to be interrupted. But in 14, it's like, because of that, the way things are, you can move about maybe 80% into your cast.
You know, so I kind of think some of this actually doesn't stem from them naturally just disagreeing with you, Todd, or disagreeing with you, Serenaya. I don't think they're actually disagreeing with your opinion sometimes. And same thing for me, and I think a lot of content creators. I feel like there are people who have a bias that come in against just, God, this is going to sound privileged in a way, content creators in general. All right, that they see that this is a person who is a content creator and is saying something. So what's the first thoughts that come to your mind? They're trying to get fucking content. They're trying to stir shit up. They're trying to monetize, an opinion here.
They want engagement.
You're right.
I mean, that's fine. But, like, I didn't post that for engagement. I posted it because I thought Fall Guys was a stupid fucking collaboration. I didn't say it wasn't fun. I think Fall Guys is fun. I'm glad people are having fun. I just thought it was really weird.
Mm-hmm.
And I just put that out there. And after seeing Violent Destruction's clip of him, and so many people like come forward, like, that's how I lost. Someone behind them just shooting ahead and grabbing the win. So,
that's yeah. So it was kind of funny that people found that surprising, because that did happen to me, and that happens to like everyone, at every point in the game ever, is that the person next to you is always ahead of you. That's just what it is.
It's not about dodging or doing the mechanics either. It's just, this person's behind me, and then all of a sudden they win.
Well, they're not behind you. They just appear to be behind you.
They appear.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things where I've grown so used to it, I'm sort of numb to it.
Well, that's why you should never follow people in a raid because of that latency.
Mm-hmm. It's just what it is.
They're already well ahead of you.
Yeah, and you stop seeing it after a while. If you play Final Fantasy XIV a lot, you stop just thinking it's an abnormal thing. You just think it's part of the game, too. And that could be a problem, and I think that is a problem for a lot of people who try this game out. Right? They come and try the game, and they're like, man.
They thought it's like slow motion. They thought, like, why is it so, like, why, if I press this button, this ability, why does it take, like, a second and a half for, like, me to see any animation about it?
Yeah. Why are you standing in the fire and you're not dead? Well, the telegraph's off.
The visuals, the telegraph. It's like, it's after the fact, and so we're used to that as raiders. Yeah. We've grown like accustomed to that, and we're like, and we can abuse and will abuse server ticks and snapshots and stuff like that because we know like how to handle that. But in content where it's required for you to have like snappy reactive movement, it sucks. PvP suffers. Jump puzzles. And obviously Fall Guys, stuff like that, and it's just there's just an argument. I'd love to hear what people's takes on this. It's like, would it be better overall if the game was more snappy and the netcode was more like more instant or more along the lines of a game like WoW or another MMO?
Here's
like, I think raiders would be able to manage because we like raiding, and we would, whatever we get, it's like, okay, we'll just learn how to handle those mechanics now a different way.
I guess the other side of that coin, is it something that can even be fixed?
If they prioritize it and put all the developers
do we know?
On it, it's like, hey, this, we don't, I mean, I think, yes.
Okay.
They can. Okay. They absolutely can.
Because if they could, I feel like they would have.
It'll probably come in the next MMO by them.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to do it for this one.
Yeah, I don't think the resources from
But they could.
They could. Or they could update the graphics. Mm-hmm. Right? Make everything more...
I can't wait for enhanced Lalafell chins or whatever the hell we watch.
You can just feel that pessimism.
Honestly, they would have like kept our attention.
Make me more excited.
No, they should have used some like Mikote ass or some booba right on there.
Yes, dude.
Then yeah, and like, hey, let's look at the curvature of these butts, and then we're like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, a Lalafell chin, like, no thanks. You lost me.
I think they have to do some level of like
Another audience.
curving the horniness of the Final Fantasy XIV
No.
and not catering completely to it, right? They have to try, because if they go too hardcore into it, this game will deep dive into the sea of lewdness, into the Mariana Twitch of trench of.
I hate to break it
by
to you,
the-
but it
oh my
already
God.
has. You
I
just
feel like
haven't
it could
seen
go deeper.
And I
feel
gotta
like we're
say,
not-
man,
yeah.
I gotta say, more
Just-
like 9 times out of 10, one of these weird replies that you get online, especially on Twitter,
Mhm.
it's someone that has a profile. Like their Twitter profile is like 110% Final Fantasy 14. Their profile picture is like a cropped lewd photo of their Warrior of Light, like making some like moaning face. Then their profile banner is like a heavily modded lewd scene or something, maybe slightly censored. And then you start scrolling down, and it's like their Warrior of Light getting Eiffel Towered by some like some Fuda lizards or something.
Oh, so, okay, all right. You sound like a really good old man here, by the way, Lamatodd.
Yeah.
But are you saying that you feel like the people who are like attacking content creator opinions?
Yeah. There's nothing about like
who
they are on Twitter. It's information about what they are in game, who they are in game, and then a bunch of lewd mods scroll down. I'm not judging what y'all do.
Oppressed.
I'm just making an observation.
Are you saying that they're the degenerate?
Oh yeah.
Oppressed because they have to use mods. They have to use mods to get to the level of lewdness they want.
I think the angrier that they are on Twitter and YouTube, and the more they respond, the more they fap to the Warrior Light every day.
This is gonna go great on YouTube. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm honestly gonna present a counterpoint because I'm a fucking degenerate too. Yet here I am complaining about the very same people.
They're probably cranking one out right now, just all angrily.
I will just point that out. The exceptions do exist, but like, on that note, like the joke has always been like someone's very angry that you've complained on Twitter, and their account is just very much like fanboy
Where's
or
your hand?
fangirl.
It's up.
Hands up, guy. Hey, Saren, hands up, man. All right.
He can't.
Okay.
Siri can't do it. Oh, okay.
What?
Never mind. You're good.
Hands
Keep going.
up, buddy.
Sorry.
Never mind,
Sorry.
go ahead. All right. Okay. All right.
Sorry.
Like the
Just checking.
joke's always been that it's like their account is just fanboyism or fangirlism to the absolute maximum, and like that's very true in at least some cases.
I mean, I am a huge fanboy of Final Fantasy XIV, of Yoshida, of the developers. I have huge respect for all of them, right?
Sure.
But that doesn't mean that I feel like people who criticize them should be silenced.
Yeah, no. Of course.
I understand that there's still a company being ran. There's decisions being made that could have been made better. I have a lot of disagreements with things and the way things are in Final Fantasy XIV. I wish there could be improvements upon them.
Absolutely.
But I don't. And see, you know what's funny? If those changes happened with latency, how much would it affect the people who are criticizing you? Do you think that
How much would it affect them?
Do you think they're hardcore raiders?
No, I mean,
that
it would
would-
help them in Fall Guys, or I mean, I don't know.
I'm gonna let you guys know real quick. Break it to everybody here. Fall Guys can be cheesed without any cheating, without any hacking, without anything crazy. It is.
Yeah, there was that guide tweet, right?
There's a guy. Oh,
Had like a full guide on how to do it.
yeah. Go get a little task repeater, macro thing, whatever, and just say, "Oh, it's this pattern. Press the number 1," and then it runs your character forward and moves to the side. You're done. You've cheesed it. You've cheesed
No
it,
way.
guys.
Bro, I just
It's
hold
so
W,
easy.
man. Like, I just don't care. I mean, I haven't done it for a while because I kind of got tired of it pretty fast. But,
Yeah.
like,
That
again,
sucks.
it is fun. I'm just gonna hold W.
Yeah.
If I win, I win. If I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna like
I
mold
never
and move
said
on.
it wasn't fun. People
Yeah.
like they really got angry at me for that tweet, and they're like, "I like it though. It's really fun, Cleese." And I'm like, "No, I didn't. I never said it wasn't. And
Yeah.
please enjoy it, Cleese."
Yeah. And people who don't use anything, by the way, they honestly are way better than anyone who's ever used a mod to try to get through Fall Guys. And they will execute it. Day one, before any of this stuff even existed, they were able to get to the top without getting hit every single time because they're just gamers who understand how the latency works and everything else. And so they crank that stuff out and they destroy it without any problem. The problem that usually happens is the guys who just AFK at the beginning for no reason at all, right? The only reason they do it is because they're like, this is my way to farm points and give a middle finger to everyone else because I don't care about anyone. That gets me, are the players who are like so jaded and hateful towards everything that they just won't even participate, but they gotta get their glamour.
Oh God! You put glamour as a reward? Absolutely, people are gonna go nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the true in game.
And so I feel like those are the type of people that are actually probably damaging the game more than the one or two people out there running scripts or whatever else and still failing at Fall Guys.
I mean, they still get the currency though. Like, who cares?
I mean, they get the currency, but they
The
waste a
thing,
whole
yeah, the
minute of me waiting on the thing to time out because they're all just AFK over there.
Oh, you're still talking about people just sitting still.
Yeah, oh yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That and
Oh, they just enter and they don't even move. They
yeah,
just-
No.
they just enter.
just-
They don't
you
move.
get a
They get
participation
participation points. Yeah, every single time.
I
right?
feel like they should get points removed for doing that.
Yeah, and then when I was like, man, these guys suck. I said this on Twitter. So here's another thing, right? I said this sucks. I hate it when people do this, and they're like, well, why are you so fucking judgmental on these people who don't want to play this janky ass mode, and you're trying to punish them for trying to get their. I'm like, just run to the end. That's it. It'll be over faster.
The sense of entitlement
You
is
could
very real.
seriously just press and hold W and close your eyes, and you might win like 1 out of 1,000.
Yeah, you get more points, but the thing is, they don't want to play the game. They want to Netflix on the side and just enter and queue and be done. It is the laziest way to farm points. The least amount of work that you have to do in order to get points, but it wastes everybody's time. Please,
There
you're a
is,
piece of
like-
shit too. I don't know.
There is like a huge sense of entitlement just across the general community. Obviously, not everyone. If the shoe doesn't fit, don't wear it. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but there is always this sort of disconnect where people don't realize they're playing a fucking that you're playing an MMO. And I know they've spent a whole expansion trying to make it not an MMO, but you are playing an MMO. There are other people in the parties with you, whether it's dungeon, raid, Fall Guys, alliance raid. It doesn't matter. Like, at the end of the day, if you don't want to do the content, like, just don't do it. Like,
Yeah.
no one can be mad at you for that. Like, that's not an issue, obviously.
I think it's just the fear of losing out for so many people that they're constantly feel like they're missing out and they're losing out on all these things that other people are enjoying. But it's such a difficult path to get there that you just get angry and frustrated with the path that exists before you to get there. It makes you kind of an angry person in general. And that same thing happens with the mount for P12S, right? Holy crap.
Oh, sure.
Did that make so many people angry? It's a
Yes, it did.
I'm pretty sure that
bad
was a
take,
shit
about to
post.
lose a whole bunch of followers.
No, I think there were
Yeah.
there were definitely people that were mad.
No, bad take as in me saying it's a bad mount and I don't give a shit about it. I'm sure I'm going to lose followers for that. But I don't...
It's like a skin-colored sperm whale.
It's
not that
It
great.
doesn't look that great. I don't.
It's very boring. It's very boring considering P8S was so much cooler in general, the mount reward for that. But they wanted to go with this cute mount. And I'm perfectly fine. I don't care. Whatever. You know, they wanted to do it, but people were upset about the path they had to do to get there. And so it's and these are I don't know if the circles overlap with the people who are complaining about people complaining about the game, that they're complaining about things that are like they have their own complaints about things being too difficult to get in the hardcore raiding community, but they are upset with people complaining about casual content. If that circle is all the same people or not, I don't know.
I mean, like, we're not like let's just like take that example, right? Like, we don't complain about casual content. Like, this is ultimately like my biggest point. It's like we as in any raider, any content creator of any size, you know, I don't want this to sound like it's just like three like grumpy men complaining. Like this is like you know, we are one of you. Like we have fun doing casual things too.
Yeah,
we have fun doing mid-core content too.
I have a lot of fun with Fall Guys.
When we complain about it, it's like we just want the game to be better. And then, as I said at the start,
my content. You're not allowed to talk about it. You
everybody,
elitist raider. How dare you?
It's like, no, I know. I just wanted to insert that quick. Keep going.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be honest. This conversation is not going to do anything. There's not going to be any change ever. No one's going to change their perspective.
Oh no, that's not really not the point.
Yes, the point is to sit here and have the conversation and discuss it for ourselves too, right? In the chat and the people who are listening to this, to just kind of expand our perspective a little bit, vent out a little bit, kind of get some relations and what we think, you know, are, you know, the troubles that we're experiencing, things that we could do to fix it, and just have that information in our head as a conversation. That's all Mog Talk ever is. It's never going to change the situation. We're always going to have people who are going to be just hateful for the reason of being hateful, and they're going to see something and feel attacked and immediately say this person has lost all of my respect because they're just trying to get content, farm content, or whatever else it might be. There's nothing we can do about that.
Well, they need to like just take us off the pedestal. Like content creators just like voicing their opinion. Like to your point, like we're just gamers. We enjoy Final Fantasy or whatever the hell it is we're playing and we're talking about, and we do want it to improve, and we're going to voice our opinions. It's like just because we're a content creator, it's like it doesn't make our opinions, like more important than someone else's. It's like
you're right.
I don't need to be professional at all, especially on Twitter. What does that even mean? Someone said like I need to be more professional on Twitter. I'm like,
that means nothing. It's gone pretty quick, unless if you're like, you know, marrying, I don't know, Taylor Swift, and someone goes back and looks at your tweets from like 2010 or something. I don't know what's going on. I hate how that's like injected into my head so much recently. Anyways, let's go into Final Fantasy 14 again. Twitter, giving your opinions. We're not trained by PR specialists to put out something. We're saying something because we have a thought and opinion, and Twitter is supposed to be like, boom, there's my thought and opinion real quick. It's out there, and then that's there. You discuss, you talk, you have little chats back and forth, whatever it may be. You get too much of that, too much not safe for work stuff, I mute you, and that's it. All right, that's
yeah. I mean, the biggest crybaby on my Twitter, I think it was someone they go by the handle of
don't we chun them. Okay.
Stream,
I thought you were legitimately
stop being anti-fun, Toddy. Yeah, fuck that guy.
You are anti-fun. What are you talking about? Fall Guys is fun. Gosh.
I'm not gonna read anyone's name. Don't worry. I know better than that, man.
Okay. But yeah, no. There's this whole thing. I will say there is some level of we do have a sort of skewed perspective in some way, in shape or form, because content creators playing a game, while we are all gamers inside Final Fantasy 14, our experience is going to be a little bit different than people who are just playing the game that are not content creators. That's absolutely true, but it's not so skewed that our opinions are incorrect, right? We get used to having these conversations. Some people are better at it than others, right? Trying to make sure that we are not like using our skewed perspective as the determining factor for things in our thoughts and feelings, that we're actually looking into it a little bit. But still, there is some level of skewed perspective there, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah. So I can agree with that, but I don't feel like that skewed perspective. I feel like that's overemphasized, and a lot of people who are fighting back and using that as an argument against people having opinions on Twitter or wherever else it could be. And they just completely dismiss your thoughts and opinions because they feel like your perspective can't relate to their perspective, right? So I don't know. It's so tough to have these conversations and feel like you have to constantly defend why you even have an opinion.
Yeah, and I was told just for like ranting and having this discussion, are you having a midlife crisis? Like that was the first
we're
thing they
streamers.
said.
What are you talking about? Of course.
I'm like, well, probably. I'm angry and I'm in my 40s, so probably. Like,
Yeah.
Where's my Corvette, man?
Yeah,
They said that, and then later on, they're like, you resort to name calling and just insulting people. I'm like, bitch, you fucking said I had a midlife crisis, like the first sentence. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me right now? Check yourself.
It's all give and no take. Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets personal on their part, and then like suddenly we're bad for responding. Like, yeah, my bad. Sorry, forgot to be professional.
If your goal is
look, man, I left customer service years ago because I didn't want to deal with people talking to me like shit and me having to put a smile on my face. Okay, you speak to me like shit, I'm gonna speak to you like shit. It's that fucking simple.
Well, if your goal is to get people to never watch you again, you have succeeded.
Damn.
I'm gonna take a screenshot of your Twitch metrics and post them.
Is that happening to you?
Man.
Yes. I'm not exaggerating.
I don't even look at my Twitch metrics.
No.
Wait, did someone actually do that?
Yes, they did.
View count Andy's are weird, man. Stream's fucking dying. You're wrong.
Guys, I don't care if like 10 people are watching me. You know, in the end, it just is what it is. It's life. You know, if I put out a tweet and it doesn't get 50,000 people liking it for some random reason, then it just is what it is.
Bro, I just go back to fapping to cat go porn on my home.
There you
feed,
go.
man.
Yeah.
5 minutes. Like, I'm good. I don't care. I lay out my opinion. And, like, no, that's it, man. Like, we don't need to go any further.
Man, I don't know. I feel, you know, it feels good to vent a little bit. It does feel good. There is some, again,
Absolutely it does.
Always levels of valid criticism. Just is baked in so much bullshit on top of it. Like, I mean, not the criticism we're putting out there, but the people who are like not liking our opinions. There's probably something in there, but it's just baked with so much. Can I not fucking say a word? My brain is midlife crisis, old man stuff.
You're having
Sorry.
a midlife crisis.
Yeah,
I'm gonna post your metrics.
Yeah, but they're fucking antagonizing at the same time they're giving you that stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, another thing is like, people they really don't want to hear any negativity like whatsoever, and that's maybe I don't know if it's just
no. They're okay with it as long as it's their negativity.
Right, their negativity. Yeah, as long as it's them complaining.
Right, agreeing
like,
with their opinions, then you're good.
I had been. This was kind of like a weird side. Like they weren't really mad at like what I was saying. They were just mad or upset with. Maybe not mad, but like put off by the fact that I was even expressing myself negatively about the game. Or just negative in general. And I feel like that's just so disingenuous. It's like, allow me to feel. I really hate tone policing. When someone's like, you shouldn't feel this way. You need to be happier. You need to be, you have to act a certain way. And like, I think for a long time, and maybe as a 14 creator, since we are aware of, like, people within that community, it's like, well, I don't want to say the wrong thing. Or I don't want to seem like I'm a downer or too negative, so I'm just gonna like walk on eggshells and just be like, okay, well, like maybe I'll be happy. I'll put on this like positive front or something, because you're afraid of like losing viewers or something. And yeah, and the moment I started like ranting a bit more, people would be like, "What happened to you?" Like I'm unfollowing. Like you're complaining too much. Like you're not allowed to. I'm like, like I'm just some guy. Like, just let me vent. Let me, like, I have some frustrations. I want to say them. Like,
guys, I'm gonna be honest. I feel that a lot, and it sucks in a way that, like, I like to be stupid. I like to say stupid stuff. I like to say dry jokes. I like to have some takes and everything else. But then a lot of people will associate me as this, like, the stable middle ground person who's, like, there to be the person who
parasocial.
Yeah. I'm not supposed. I'm supposed to be the all accepting. There's nothing that you would offend or make anyone upset.
Be yourselves, but with these parameters that make me happy because I'm codependent.
Yeah. And I can't do it.
Transition from that, like, years ago. I used to be more of a neutral person.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it just felt uncomfortable because there was a point, like, early in, like, my streaming career where, like, I was, like, scared of losing people. And so I'd always pick this mid ground and come at everything from, like, 9 different perspectives. Brother, it's exhausting.
It is, bro. And
like a couple years ago, I just said fuck it, and I was just like, no, I'm just gonna say my piece, and, like, you can either like it or dislike it. I'm not asking anyone to like it, not asking anyone to dislike it, like, or just, like, Pepe W me and tell me, I'm talking about this again, like, it's
Looping.
fine.
Yeah,
like, it's fine. Like, I'm just saying my piece, just like everyone's allowed to say theirs. I think everyone should be allowed
double melee lover
to give their opinion. Yeah,
right. Yeah. Well,
stop it.
It is a real problem. I didn't understand that it was such a big problem until I started doing Party Finder in EU, where I feel like it's a lot more of an issue there than it is over in NA. It still exists there, but the double melee thing is just, like, solid. Like, oh yeah, you need double melee. In EU, it's all over the place in Party Finder. It's crazy. But that all being said, too, I mean, I do try to take other perspectives because I think it is interesting to explore things from different perspectives all the time. But it doesn't mean I have to change my opinion. I will, have that conversation with myself. I'll have that conversation with people because I feel like that's fun. You're exploring the topic a little bit better. Sometimes I find myself in the wrong, but it's never going to be clean, dry, sit down, have a meeting, professionally give my opinion, go through it. There's always going to be, rough edges to it, because otherwise there's no life to it. There's no fun to it. There's no, I don't know, happiness in it. Like, me being happy is being stupid every once in a while, right? You know what I love doing? I think.
No, I'm happy.
Shut the fuck up. All right. What I love doing is raiding, and you guys love raiding too. And I love going in, and when someone fucks up, I have a internal reaction that goes unfiltered, right? It's not something that I'm trying to play up or anything else. I'm like, oh fuck, this guy fucked up, I do that. I'm not thinking about how this person would feel if they hear that. I'm just saying that because it's a momentary thought and emotion. Right? And that stuff is usually gone after the fact, but I don't want to take that away because that's human. And that feels good, and it feels right to be able to have that filter.
I think most people recognize when you're being genuine, and or if you're being, like, fake positive just because you're afraid of, like, losing views or some shit.
Right.
I'd rather be more genuine. I think I have for the most part, but yeah, I think I've probably been more maybe negative or just ranting often, just because, like, not often. It's just I feel like I've been able to speak more about things I'm unhappy with ever since, like, taking a break from 14. And yeah, like, some people call me out, or maybe I had some messages or conversations with friends, and yeah, I do have a little bit of resentment. I do have a little bit of salt for 14, and that's just my experience. But, like, I still love raiding, and I still love all the ultimates, and, like, all that stuff was great. So it's like, but people try to invalidate my opinion, like, because, oh well, you're just mad because you quit Final Fantasy 14 and you're playing this game now.
Typical WoW.
WoW. Yeah, you're a WoW Andy.
WoW Andy now, huh?
Yeah, people actually saying go back to WoW.
Only gonna come back once content comes out again. Yeah.
You're just gonna farm some content.
I think to like use an analogy, like think of like say you've just had
WoW pilled.
say you've just had like a meal at a restaurant, and say like something was undercooked, it was cold, you know, like insert complaint here, like you're probably gonna complain because you want something to be better, or maybe you just want a voice that, you know, that there are issues that need addressing, like regardless of how much you care about it.
Mm-hmm.
If you had a really good time somewhere, you might review it highly, but you're probably not going to, because a lot of the time, at least this might just be my country to be fair, but like people are always more likely to complain than like say something nice. Because complaining is like for betterment, and not complaining is just kind of status quo.
Pretty much, yeah, circle jerk, you know.
So, you know, so like just to then bring that back to like just a quick point I want to make. I genuinely believe that like if you can't find flaws in something, like you don't care about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you care about something, you've either put a lot of time into it, maybe it's something regular, maybe it's just something you really enjoy, like a good meal at a restaurant. So when it's not good, you want it to be better next time. Maybe not. Maybe you're not going to come back. But at least, you know, if feedback is taken on board, then it will be better for people that go there in the future.
Mm-hmm. I never complain at a
really
restaurant, by the way. Ever.
No, I mean, like, I don't either usually. But, like, a lot of people do. A lot of people do. Like, I don't personally, but...
I'll talk with the people I'm with, right? But not, I'm like, the staff, I leave alone. They just made a meal. Yeah. You know, I'm not fucking with that, right?
Yeah.
But I will talk.
Always tip the service. Yeah, like.
Well, unless if you're in EU.
If the food's bad, then yeah, maybe you complain to like the restaurant, but you always tip the waiter. That's not their fault. That like they didn't make the food.
Yeah,
yeah. Of course, unless you're in EU.
We don't even have tipping culture.
You don't even know what we're talking about.
We do,
yeah. You're British? Ew. What happened to you? I'm unfollowing.
We just leave and give them a middle finger on the way out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I mean, I guess there is also like this level of where we're in this situation, and it's kind of built up over time, where we're building these barriers and everything, that it becomes kind of difficult to receive like feedback on things that we say, because it's all tainted with this past experience of every time I say anything, someone's just gonna fucking flip it back on me and be an asshole about it. And so it's hard to receive that, to even see the actual legitimate conversation coming back at you, because it's flooded with so much bullshit around it too, right? And that kind of sucks too, that we have this feeling that like we're already expecting, we're expecting blowback for saying something, that we can't even have these conversations. But maybe it'll change at some point. Maybe.
I don't think it will change, but I think a message just needs to be given that, like, it can live in harmony. You know, you don't have to agree with people, and that's completely fine. You don't have to.
Right.
You don't have to.
And it's not personal. It's not personal,
Yeah,
so
it's
don't make
definitely
it
not.
personal when you're responding.
Like, even using the earlier discussion about PF, like the frustration in the moment, it's not personal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we applied the same standard to myself. Like, you know, I'm not gonna sit there thinking about your name and like how many gamer words I can throw at you afterwards. Like, it's like you just kind of move on.
Sorry,
like, there doesn't need to be like this huge
skill issue. Learn to compensate like everyone else does, and fix your router guy. Actual response.
What?
You know, I just
fix your router?
Yeah, that was someone's like initial reaction. That was their first thing they said.
Oh, it's a Fall Guys?
I actually read that.
Oh yeah. They said skill issue. I'm like, bro.
I mean, I can see that as like a joke, right? That's
no, they were dead serious.
No, I won't believe you, Todd. I won't believe you that someone was serious saying skill issue.
That's what they said, man.
No
Absolutely.
I like how one tweet just sent everyone over the edge, and that's why we're here now.
It's not. This is just one of many, right? It's just that it's fresh.
One of many.
Straw that broke the camel's back.
And then they go, "You thin-skinned twat of no consequence in Earth's history." And then they're like, they got super defensive, but that's I got called so many names. Out of this. And then someone goes, "Man, what happened to you?
Yeah.
You're so toxic and aggressive,
Guys."
over anyone disagreeing with you." I'm like, "What do you mean toxic and aggressive? I stated an opinion that you didn't agree with. That's not toxic. People don't know what the fuck toxicity is."
That person right there is a you pull you tank guy.
Yeah, they have no idea what actual toxicity is. They've never played League.
You know what's I know a lot of the comments on this video are going to be, wow, fucking privileged content creators crying and whining, whatever. It comes with the job. You should be okay with it, right? But we deal with a lot of people saying horrible shit all the fucking time, and you can't block all of it, right? You can try to like mitigate it in some way, but some of the dumb shit that we see and hear, and that people put actual effort into being an asshole to you, it's a lot. Mm-hmm. It's a lot. And you don't even have to be that, like, popular for people to do it to you either.
Oh, no. Not at all.
It's rough.
I just love the random blocked I have. I scroll down, there's a reply, I'm like, who's this person? Oh, I can't read their shit. All right, well,
I don't know their opinion.
I kind of get it, because like it might just be that like they fear like backlash, but as I said earlier,
I'm not going to go after
stand
people.
by what you say. Like 99% of us like aren't gonna like organize a witch hunt. Like,
some of these people,
that's way too far in any singular scenario, and there's never an excuse for something like that.
Some of these people
just
have
stick by
already
what you say, no matter how much we don't like it.
Oh no, some of these people have already deleted their replies on that.
And that's actually surprising. Most people who are real shitty online, they stand behind being shitty to me. And they leave it up as like a proud moment of standing up to the bully.
I've been bullying, man.
You know, one of my favorite things when I because I do a lot of Party Finder, and I'll comment on Party Finder situations and the social interactions that happen with Party Finder a lot. And my favorite thing is to talk about people who make Party Finders and how they kind of approach that stuff and what they do with the party. And I'll say, this is stupid, this is dumb, whatever. And I am so tired of hearing the response, oh, well, they can do whatever they want. It is their Party Finder, their rules or whatever. No shit, right? That is not even part of the conversation. We're talking about the issues with that. It is such a bailout to say, oh, well, it's free world, man. They can do whatever they want. They can, you know, make a Party Finder where you have to make fart noises the entire time in Discord in order to play with me. Whatever, you know, of course they can.
It's you don't pay my sub mentality.
And it's like, that's not the point of the whole conversation. Can I not even like say that what they're doing is stupid? Because they can do it. It's just stupid.
Wrong.
So,
it doesn't matter how many reasons you come up with. Like, it's just like, oh well, you're toxic and you're compelling a play style. It's like, no, I just want them to have the best chance possible, man. Actually, like, once again, we come back to this like main point of we just want the best for everyone. It's not about us. It's not about like this label of like, you know, fucking raider or whatever the fuck. It's about wanting better for everybody, because anything, like, I'm pretty sure basically everything that's been complained about in terms of Endwalker is not stuff that would like leave other people behind. You
know, this is actually a really good point to bring up, is that it feels like a lot of this has gotten like tenfold recently, right? Like, it's being this whole divisive conversation since everyone started criticizing Endwalker, is that either you hate the game or you like the game. And the people will put you in these two different groups. There's no middle ground. It's you're agree with you because of what you're saying, or I disagree with you and you're wrong. Everything you say is wrong. It's like completely divisive right now, and it's not that big of a deal to say there's things wrong with Shadowbringers. There's things wrong with Stormblood, with Heaven's Word, with A Realm Reborn, with 1.0. There's things wrong with all of it, right? And so I think it's really good to talk about it, and we always run into these conversations. It's always going. This is the time it happens. It's the time all of these things start to come up because you're just looking at these issues, and a lot of that just, I guess, oh wow, this is all really cool new stuff wears off, and you start living in it without a lot of new stuff coming in. So you can start being a little bit more judgmental. You start putting it under a little bit more of a microscope and understanding the situation overall. And so I'm used to this kind of stuff. But I mean, there is legitimacy out there, but I don't feel like it's overblown to where people say shit to get engagement, right? That exists. We've seen people do that before, all right? Who's the guy that everybody criticized when he came in? But I don't actually know if it was a legitimate. There's the meme of Quinn. It was Quinn, right? About
sure.
Yeah. And like. I would assume.
Is this the part where I bring up stand and let thing resolve, or
Oh, man, I have not watched that video. I have just seen the flood of responses to that video.
I mean, I think everyone just needed to ignore it personally, because the guy just came back after like a 2-year break, didn't even play the game, just made a hot take and then left again. Like, I think it bamboozled everyone.
Todd?
Yeah. Sorry, what now?
Are you clueless? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm totally clueless.
Okay, just making sure.
Idea.
Just making sure. But yeah, no,
no.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, I've seen like some of those WoW creators and stuff, and just like things that they've done and people how they react to them. And I still think that the way the community reacts to that, like, it scares them off. And I think just saying go back to WoW is just a cop out. Like, please don't say that. You're driving people away from the game.
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking.
I mean, yeah, some of the things they say can be really dumb, and that's okay. They should get made fun of, but
yeah.
Like,
but
we should meme on them too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, the thing is, when people come in and they're stupid, then that becomes like the defense for people shit talking everyone else. It's another content creator being stupid.
Wait, sorry, I think. Oh, the video. Oh, was it? I think I have seen it.
Which one?
I think I've watched it. Was it stand and let the thing resolve? Is that it?
Yes,
like
that's what I.
The Links video, right? Whatever it was.
Okay,
yeah, I don't know.
Sorry, I had to jog my memory. I'm a little. I'm old and slow. I'm having a midlife crisis.
I didn't watch it.
But yeah.
So.
No, I didn't watch it, but I think I saw a tweet about it. It was like, oh yeah. Okay, I remember all that. Okay, now we're good. I'm all caught up now.
All right, old man.
Old man. Sorry, I was crafting and WoW.
Yeah, it's. I love raiding in Final Fantasy XIV, by the way. I think it's great. I think there's things they could do to improve upon it, but that's why I play the game. I enjoy the raiding. I enjoy the prog experience. I think the prog experience is great. I can see how the repeat raid experience gets boring, but I feel like I don't know. I don't have enough experience with other MMOs to know if you could just do the same raid over and over and over again. If it's still fun doing the same raid over and over and over again in WoW, or if it's still fun doing the same raid over and over again in, like, I don't know, Guild Wars 2 or whatever else.
I mean, you need a bit of variety, and like, like that was the other thing. Like, why I was like so afraid to make that switch and just take a break, and I think it probably has added to my resentment towards the game. It's like, well, I don't want to complain about the game. Like, this is what I know. Like, I don't want to switch because you might lose viewers or whatever. You might piss people off by doing something else. So it's like you got to, like, again, tiptoe around things. But now that, like, I kind of just ripped that Band-Aid off, I feel like I can talk about 14 a bit more because, like, that fear is gone It's like, well, if I'm playing other games, I'm not relying solely on 14 content. Like, well, maybe I can voice my opinions more often. Like, it's kind of liberating. It is. I recommend it. I think, honestly, if you're a 14 creator right now, you have so much time between now and Dawntrail. I think you should try some other games. I'm not saying play WoW, but there are a lot of good fucking games out there. And you just have fun with it, man.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I can't really stomach thinking about Party Finder at this moment. I just can't.
You can't? I love it. I still love it. Even though I complain about it, I love it so much.
Oh, I know, bro. I'm not saying people aren't. I want people... If you're having fun with it, fuck yeah. That's good. People want to see you have fun with what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you're miserable in Party Finder, it's gonna show on stream. And you need to check yourself and be like, dude, this doesn't make me happy.
Yeah. No.
I think just like that's a good general message. If you're having fun, you're having fun. Like
yeah.
There was this, like, on the point of the comparison, there was this trend where like people were noticing that some of the people that were like really angry at people's takes on like social media, these were people that had started in Endwalker and had been played for like a matter of months at best. And I think it's important to note that like people that have been playing for a long time are going to have a lot more to say, because they've also seen the game be like demonstrably better in the past. So when it's not that anymore, like while change happens, if people feel like there's a sentiment of things are going downhill, like they're entitled to complain about that. But nobody is saying at any point you can't have fun playing the game now.
Right.
If you're a new player now, you are sorted for a very long time.
Oh, that's probably what
honestly,
it is, man.
good for you. Please enjoy it. Like, please, have fun. Nobody is saying don't have fun.
No one. Yeah, that's
nobody is asking you to jump on the wagon.
There. We lose people. Yeah, they think because we criticize an aspect of the game means, oh well, that's what I enjoy. It's like, and they get all mad about it. It's like, no, it's not what we're saying, man. I'm just saying I wish this thing was better. If you enjoy it, fucking great. I'm happy for you. That's awesome.
Yeah, Fall Guys is fun, Todd, dude.
It is fun.
Yeah.
Fall Guys is fun. I'm just saying, why play a shittier version of a game that's free that you could play elsewhere?
You could say that about every single piece of content within Final Fantasy XIV. I think, yeah, fair. But
oh wait, because glamour.
Yeah,
have fun. Okay,
glamour
have fun.
and title.
Glamour. That's a great reason.
Yeah,
absolutely great reason.
I like it because it has my character in it.
Yeah, if the jank is what makes it fun, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
have fun with it.
But
and that response I would respect rather than you're having a midlife crisis, you twat. Unfollowed.
They're just stating facts here, Todd. I don't.
Old angry old man shouts at cloud.
No.
Not the character. Final Fantasy VII fandom. Ah!
Oh, don't
cancel me.
Like, I think
I'm writing my twit longer right now, man. Sorry.
I know. Too late, bozo.
Yeah. Don't
and
yell.
Here's another hot take. I'm actually like, I'm not getting my hopes up for Dawntrail. I feel like it's going to be like the filler arc of expansions. It's going to be the anime filler.
I still have hope for it.
I mean, yay, there's FF11 stuff. That's kind of cool, but like, I hope they prove me wrong. What happened to you?
I don't think we've seen enough. I mean, I was
we haven't.
I was pretty underwhelmed by a Viper, and I'm sad to see that they're not like homogenizing. Like, let me explain. I just said the H word, homogenizing. They're not homogenizing the stat systems, so melees can all use similar gear. And we don't, but we can like maybe we can have like meld plates or something, so like different skill speeds will work. Things like that. I was underwhelmed by that whole thing, and I already didn't like that a melee was being added. I didn't like that a 6th melee is being added. I think it's a very bad decision. Just to arbitrarily have 2 scouting classes, like who cares? Why do we have scouting in the fucking first place? But anyway, like on Todd's point, you know, I think we need to know more. Like JP FanFest is going to be very telling. I think.
Well, that's where
I do know what you mean. But there was something promising that Yoshi said, and that was about how he wants, you know, people to be able to play together again. So I'm hoping that Dawntrail brings back the MMO part of this game.
Yeah, because it's very single player.
Good.
It's very single player until you have to do Savage or want to do Savage or Ultimate. Then it becomes like, okay, I have to get along with these fucking people and actually talk.
You don't. You just call them a mouth breather and leave like they did to me. I mean, like, I've had so many people say horrible shit to me. It's been insane how people treat each other. You know, it's not as much. Okay, all right. Party Finder consists of 8 people. The chances that one of them is going to be a classic meme of either being an asshole, a bad player, or whatever, is very high. Okay, you may have groups in Party Finder, and of course, whatever. The guy who's complaining about me talking shit about Party Finder every single episode. Here you go. Here it is again. All right, likely one person is going to be a problem for that party. Every once in a while, you have a great party. Every once in a while, you have 2 bad people in the group. 3 people in the group that's bad. You know, it's possible. But there is a decent chance, because there's 8 people required to do the content, someone's going to be shitty in that group and give lots of horrible crap. And so forcing these people to get together, you're going to have a bad experience with Party Finder a decent amount of the time that you do it. And that's why people complain about it, is because that one guy, that one person in the group will be there most likely every single time, just in a different spice or variety, I guess. So yeah, sorry, there's my loop on it, I guess. God, I don't even know. We were talking about playing together and having to do Savage together and working together. People just don't care because they go to the next group kind of stuff. And that happens in WoW all the fucking time, man. WoW's pretty bad. Classic Hardcore, probably still in a decent state, but Classic Normal, whatever, it went into like opening up the queuing in the parties again. And all I see is threads about, oh yeah, I got kicked out of the group for doing bad DPS over and over and over and over again. And people are just pretty shitty when they feel like that you are just a NPC random person that doesn't matter. You guys are just cars on the road to yell at and have road rage with. There's no people, like, they can kick you out of the group, they can leave the group, they can say shitty stuff and run off and find another group of 7 people to do the content with. But eventually, if you blacklist enough people, you're not going to find any groups.
Well, I just hate how like the game currently is in terms of being able to talk to one another without this fear of getting banned for just expressing yourself. I think that really fucked us. Like, oh, well, I can't call someone out or else I'll get banned. They're going to report me for being toxic.
Oh, you mean like when someone's bad in your group and saying something bad about the way they play?
I think that just ruins it, man. Like, I think we should be able to say these things. It's so dumb. Maybe not bring up logs and shit, but you should be able to just call someone out. Maybe like, and as long as you're like respectful, you're not like in a shitty tone or something, just be like, hey man, like, is there something I need to explain to you? Like, you're not getting, like, but no one says anything. Like, we should be able to just tell people how they're fucking up, or like, just ask that question.
Yeah, no, I've had situations. There is the whole interaction between players. People can be all kinds of different states of mind when you're saying stuff, and they can immediately get defensive. They can do a lot of stuff in response to it, just like react differently. I've had positive reactions to it.
Yeah, that's good.
I've had there was one group that was barely meeting the DPS for P11S. Not like DPS checks are hard. Like when you're progging stuff, it can be hard, especially when gear isn't all the way there and everything else, and people are still learning stuff. But they barely not making the check, or like it was becoming a problem. And one person in the group was telling the dancer, "Hey, your shit's falling out of line, man. It is messing up a lot of stuff." Rotation.
Yeah, if someone's having an issue with their rotation, that is something that gets super defensive about. Like, hey man, your div is drifting.
Yeah.
Hey, or something. Yeah, something to that effect. It's like we're not making this damage check because our buffs are out of alignment.
Yeah, but the way that the conversation ended and how it worked is that they cleared it with just like maybe a second left because that dancer changed the way that they were playing in that fight in particular. And so that was a healthy way to have the conversation to where they were able to have a conversation with them. The player was able to change, and it had an actual effect on the group. And so it's difficult because we're throwing people together in this little group, and no one is trained how to properly interact with people and tell them they're bad without pissing them off. You're just shaking it up and hoping the shit works, right? But some people could be really good about it. I don't know if that's ever going to change. New people are going to come in. They're always going to have a bad attitude about things. If someone's shitty, it sparks something triggers in my brain. Like if they're like, "Hey, stop being bad," I immediately want to fuck with the guy, right?
Well, you need more information like than that. You can't just say stop being bad.
People will do that, and they'll say stop being bad. And there's a handful of people who are just really toxic and shitty about the way they approach these things, and they don't usually know what they're talking about half the time. If they don't verbalize what's wrong, usually they're just a shitty person trying to be shitty. But if they actually add some details to it, then you can kind of run with it a little bit. Some of it's going to come a little bit with thorns on the side. But if you're not used to receiving that kind of information, it'll piss you off and you'll just leave. But I don't know. I don't know what the right... You're just going to have... These interactions are going to happen no matter what. You're going to have shitty people saying shitty things, people who are trying to help the group, and it's going to be taken the wrong way. There's no fixing that. For the rest of eternity, it's going to be that way because no one is coming into that situation prepared to handle those interactions.
I think it's just like this idea of not wasting other people's time. You know, if you're there to get a job done, a game is a game, sure, but it's a multiplayer game. The same goes for like a competitive FPS, for example, like CS, maybe. In any game in any team game, when you're against an enemy, and that enemy has requirements to beat it, you're gonna have to accept at some point the problem might be you. And so instead of like exploding of this sense of like overinflated pride, maybe realize that you're not perfect, and that being told how to get better is not coming from a place of malice, but somewhere of like constructive criticism to help you. Like, it might sound blunt, it might sound like a little harsh, but that's just how text is. Like, I'm not gonna put like a bunch of like :3 cat faces and like sugarcoat it. Like, if you need to get better, you need to get better.
So,
but at the end of the day, if you get better and then we kill the thing, everyone's a winner.
So there's so many other details to that too, right? People just fuck up. Fuck-ups happen, but if something's like someone's repeatedly fucking up or something's obviously wrong with their understanding of something, that needs to be corrected, right? Then people explode over just normal fuck-ups. The game is built to have a fuck-up and someone to mess it up. It is what it is. That's why it's fun. Things can be messed up. But I think this all boils back into the Final Fantasy XIV community and its ability to take criticism and everything else, because it's all pride. Everything is fucking pride.
A part of it, yeah.
And that is literally probably the stem of all the issues with taking criticism, whether it's about your gameplay, whether it's about your game, whether it's about anything, it's all pride. And Final Fantasy XIV's community sin right now is that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I don't think there's going to ever be a way to fix it, because that's, there's a reason why, we're proud of the game in general. There's a reason why we get attached to things in the game. This MMO does that better than other MMOs, I guess. You don't really get attached to things in WoW because it's all goofy cartoons. No one gives a shit about WoW, right?
No, of course not. Yeah. WoW's back, baby. OnlyFans, what's up?
This guy, man.
Yeah, dude, it's been so fun.
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like I hope that does improve at some point, and we all learn to let our pride down a bit. Because I got most streamers who don't get rid of their pride, things don't work out well for them in the long run. Sometimes they do all right, but it is definitely something that fucks you over if you're too proud as a streamer, because people will tear you down pretty quick and try to humble you. Every day I get humbled.
A little bit.
Huh?
Like, something like League of Legends, like, take, like, I don't know, Tyler 1, for instance, you know. Some people really can make a career off of just being incredibly angry. But I think, like, in a game like FF, like, you just can't really do that. Like, you really have to just learn when it's your fault. Learn how to say, my bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's my bad. I'll do better.
Well, I think my experience with that is the initial reactions will happen. The initial reactions could be wrong. Take a second, come back and correct it. Just, you know, the wrong shit's going to happen. Immediate, you know, whatever is the front of your mind at that moment, you're going to have a reaction to it. Come back to it, fix it from there. Because that's the only way that you could really handle this stuff. Because if you don't accept that you're going to have a human reaction and that other people are going to have a human reaction, then you're not going to fix the actual situation. You have to let that shit go and come back after you've had a second to let your brain process. But there's two pieces to that, I think, for sure. And so I rarely see that happen on Twitter. I rarely see that happen in, like, comments when people, YouTube, wherever it is, right? Where something shitty is said. Then something comes back with, or, you know, I say something to them or whatever, and they just stick so fucking hard to that wrong take that they have to have that wrong take be correct. And we gotta, yeah, and I do that, you know, if I catch myself doing it, I'll stop myself, but I make sure I put that in just how I process things, is that I always add that layer of, I don't have to stand by that thing. I can change and say, all right, I fucked up. This is what I actually mean, whatever it may be, but let both things happen, or else we're just going to be fucking assholes that twist and spin shit all day to try to make other people look bad for no reason at all. Jeez, yeah. I feel like we're having a great therapy session here, guys.
I think so, yeah.
No, I feel like there's a pattern with me being on Mog Talks and it being like therapy sessions.
The last one
was the streamer one where we all talked about.
Oh god damn, dude!
Great.
Was that the last one?
But... Oh wait. Actually,
I feel like you were on one other.
Oh yeah, I was on another one. Okay,
you remember that one for sure, though, because that was a rough one. A positive rough one.
Oh yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah, but no.
Again, I will hammer the point home that it's really about wanting better in general. Like, it's not for anyone specific. It's just wanting, like, a better game, a more unified community, or at least just one that lives in more harmony.
It's
about people being able to be open and honest with each other. Like, none of this fake shit. Like that's that's all I want. You know, I don't know about other people, but like that's kind of not my goal, but just my sentiment.
Yeah, man. And I do have something to add about that. If we're talking about criticism and community building, since I kind of have like a more unique perspective, having gone to both FanFest and to BlizzCon in the same year, Square Enix, they need to step up. They really need to step up for their content creators. Like, if they're going to get mad at me for saying this, I don't care. Like, I want my Final Fantasy XIV creator friends to get that type of treatment that I got from Blizzard. And I barely even streamed WoW. I streamed it like once in Dragonflight, and they still remembered me. They emailed me saying, hey man, are you interested in going to BlizzCon? And they actually invited me as a content creator. I had a media badge, and they had like a social event, a social gathering where we got to meet community managers and people from the WoW team and all the creators. It was separate from BlizzCon. It was like the night before. It was so fucking awesome to be included in that. I'm like, why didn't SE do this? I didn't meet one social media influencer manager, anyone from SE at FanFest. There was zero communication. Nothing. They didn't have to do anything for us at the actual convention, but like maybe plan an event or an after party or something like, hey, you know what? We're the social media team. We're the influencer team. Let's get all the content creators here. Let's just have a little something for them, and so we can kind of talk and chit chat. You know, that would be nice. Just some recognition and a chance for us to get together and just be on the same page. It was so dumb that they did not do that. It's a missed opportunity. I had, with the media badge, I was able to get like freaking front row seats. I could go right into the media entrance to all the presentations and everything. They had a content creator lounge that I could just get like free snacks and lunch and stuff, and I could just if I had to tweet and post and set up a stream. They had all these tables. They had a full demo area set up for content creators and press where they could test run. Like I got to do the Seasons of Discovery, and there was no lines, didn't have to wait with all the normies, but it was just so fucking cool.
What a privileged
that they had this set up.
Todd
it
here.
Was.
Yeah.
But I don't even need all that.
So
at FanFest, I'm just saying, where's the outreach?
Look, so here I need to
What are they doing?
Put a couple of words in for this too. In previous FanFests, there was similar stuff to that, right? We're talking about North America. Let's segment it North America.
EU did a much better job.
So
they actually had media badges for people, for the creators. So what's going on in North America? Something
with this FanFest in regards to the content creators and Square Enix and everything was missed for the North America side. But I do believe that EU got treated.
I wasn't invited, and there was a thing, and I just didn't know about it.
Yeah,
that's.
Well, no, there was not a thing that I know of.
There was nothing. Okay.
But there is something that is really when I talked to Alex and Husky about their experience. People were pissed that they were given passes to go to FanFest.
No, I'm not pissed.
I know you're not you. But
canceled, unfollowed.
People who didn't go to FanFest were like, "Oh, these fucking content creators, let another Warrior of Light go. Why are they special?" There's a good group of people out there.
That's a dumb take.
That literally believe that and think that. And, I thought that was kind of a meme too. I'm finding out a lot of these bad takes really do exist out there. But there are people who are really frustrated with the fact that someone who went and performed on stage had the ability to go to FanFest.
Screaming in joy and happiness.
Yeah.
When I saw Alex and Husky on stage, that was the best moment of EU.
It was. It was.
I'm like, oh my god, they fucking yes, they had yes. Like, oh god, it was good.
It was a great situation. Everything was perfect about that. But there's always going to be this little crowd of people who are anti-good, or anti-things that are good, and they can't. There's this envy or jealousy or hatred or something that's just in their blood, and they just can't stand the fact that's happening.
It's like people don't want to content creators to be above them, but it's like to some effect I agree. Yeah, we're just gamers. We're just playing the game together. Sure, but content creators also are it's a great front for marketing the game and promoting the game and bringing new players in, and I think that should be recognized. And I think especially at the height of Shadowbringers and the WoW Exodus and just all these collaborations and all the eyes on Final Fantasy XIV, that was because of content creators. That increased the popularity of the game. It wasn't just Shadowbringers alone. It was because of people like Asmongold and everything that followed as a result of that wave of content creators.
Yeah.
And some of them still play 14 to this day that came over. And we still have a few that are WoW refugees that are still going through the MSQ and stuff. So it's you're getting a lot of views from your game and you're pulling in more people, like why wouldn't you just like do something for your creators at all?
So I think
I'm glad to see
Todd,
it
I think
happen
your
at EU.
experience and the NA experience with content creators, something was missed, and that was unique and abnormal, is what I'm mainly saying. I think they could do more in general, but I think that definitely there was something unique and abnormal about that. So I don't want to fault Square Enix completely because they have shown the ability to do stuff. I mean, before in the past, sometimes they would send like boxes of stuff to give away, like plushies and things like that. They've done these things have existed, but something was just off with that.
There's no communication. I like maybe it's like a small group of creators that like even have someone to talk to, but like I don't even know who to talk to. Or I mean, I know some names, but like you're gonna get ghosted, or like, and at least in my experience with WoW, like I could hit someone up on Discord right now.
I don't know anyone from WoW.
Well, I do now, and it only took one visit. And I already got a list of people and a bunch of cards and Discord.
So you're saying if I turn on WoW right now, they'll reach out to me?
Probably.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
They take care of their creators.
Okay.
And they like to communicate with them.
Okay. Okay.
If you're serious about doing some WoW content, I hope to see that for my fellow creators in 14.
Okay. It sounds real nice, but I don't think they give a shit about me. Siren, I don't know if you had any thoughts on all this too.
I mean, I do think Square Enix need to care about creators more. However, I do think, again, as far as EVE FanFest is concerned, I think they did a much better job.
They did. I'm not arguing that at all.
You mean I never expect to be invited to anything. You know, I don't see myself as a huge creator. Like, sure, like, you know, I might be one of the established ones in like my region in Europe, but I'm also a brand risk, and I do that by choice. You know, I don't tailor my content to Square Enix in any way. I don't censor myself in any way. And that's the content I prefer to make. And so if that means I'm incompatible with like, whatever the fuck like their criteria is, then
right.
So be it. Right?
But we don't know the criteria.
I do not care. I will be independent. I do not care.
They haven't communicated that though, like what they want.
Yeah, I mean, like they haven't. But you know, like to me, it's just kind of whatever. I mean, I don't know. Like obviously, you know, I would like the chance, but the only reason I would like the chance is to be the voice for the people, like for my viewers, for like, you know, like the raiding community. And just pass along feedback, like good feedback, obviously, like to them, and have sort of like that door open. That's the only reason I would care about it. Like, it wouldn't be about the pride, it wouldn't be about the ego, it wouldn't be about like the different treatment. It would just be about, again, furthering the game rather than like my own benefit, if that makes sense. But obviously, you know, like I've not ever been reached out to by anyone by Square Enix, but again, that's fine. I kind of like if they've watched my stream, I kind of understand why.
That's why, you know, it is confusing if like anything ever happens for me with Square Enix, because I'm like, they have to be like watching a mock. Like Yoshida even told me one time, and I'm pretty sure it's Sendolf's fault, that he wishes my shows were a little bit nicer and less critical. I'm fairly confident that he took that as Sendolf said, "Oh, you guys don't even play the game." He's like, "We play the game, son." I have it somewhere. I have the interview somewhere. But yeah, I still feel. And, you know, I have a different experience overall, too, Todd. I mean, I went and did commentary over at FanFest, right? You know, I have the experience of doing that. That was a separate thing from the content creator interaction, everything else. You know, I talked to Yoshida. I've talked to a couple of them backstage. And so, like,
That's great.
I have a different experience overall with it. So you're wrong. That's all I'm saying.
That's fine. Hey, man, that's fine. But I'm gonna respond to your Twitter right now and call you a twat. I'm gonna post your metrics.
Yeah. Post my metrics on there.
Did you talk to Yoshida about this? You're falling off.
Yeah, like another part of it is like when they do involve creators, so like the media tour, like the like the Chocobo event.
Oh,
Like,
God.
it's rarely more about like who they do include, and it's more about who they don't. For me, it's like people that they include, at least for the most part, like they obviously deserve that, but the people they don't, like, you just kind of have to ask, like, yeah, but why?
I think the situation
is there like a limited budget, or like what is it?
I think it's way more complicated than we have the ability to see. All right, we don't have the visibility into it, but I do think there are complications to it, and a lot of it I would say roots into Square Enix is a Japan-based company, Blizzard is an NA-based company, and there is
they do
differences.
have Western PR teams though.
Man, Final Fantasy 14's
they do exist.
But
yeah, they do.
But okay, but then how did EU get away with it? I mean, because it's like, I know there's like maybe cultural differences and stuff. Like, well, if EU could do this for their creators, and they're under the
I don't know.
FSE, why?
I give the benefit of the doubt just because of my past experience, and that's it.
Right.
And so I don't, I wish it could have been better for NA, and the NA. To be fair, NA was like the first after many years of it, and EU was like, I'm going to take the stuff that I like.
BlizzCon in 4 years since COVID, so it was like they still did stuff for creators.
Screw BlizzCon. No one cares about WoW. All right,
it was fun.
But yeah, no, the EU.
I love these like passive-aggressive comments at the end of each discussion topic, man. Like, yeah, fuck WoW.
Skill issue, Frosty. Skill issue.
I mean, like, literally, I went in and the game was like, oh, you press button. I was like, I formed this opinion. God, it's so difficult for me to make jokes because I feel like people are going to take it seriously. But in the way I deliver them is in a very dry tone. But I will say I was really, really concerned when I went back and tried WoW previously, because I was like, Final Fantasy gets all this criticism about rotations being boring, slow, and everything else. And then I go and I press like 3 buttons just over and over, and 4 buttons, 5 buttons, sometimes hit 7 buttons just in a row a whole bunch of times, and then I'm like top DPS in WoW. And then I have to maybe twice during a fight move. It's not that hard of a game, Not that hard.
Right. Alpha Legend, by the way.
I've put not yet.
No, I know.
Yeah. The
what is this tribalism I'm hearing, man? Stop! Oh my god.
Yeah. I have played Classic WoW. I haven't ever died in Classic WoW, other than some other people who have, but
yeah, and it's being reacted to, so I've got a lot of followers. What's your point?
Oh, your metrics, you being bad at the game gives you good metrics. Got it.
My metrics after that. Yeah. After Aspen reacts to my
death.
You
realize how lost all this sarcasm's gonna be.
It's gonna be.
Oh, I know. Some people do not get like my dry humor and fucking sarcasm. I don't give a fuck.
I get it. Don't worry.
I know you do. I know you.
Yeah,
do.
I get it too, Todd. I get it too.
Yeah. Okay.
So this whole episode's going to be rough.
Todd's so toxic. I mean, he looks and he
God,
plays
what if
WoW for one day. He's so toxic.
People are going to be like, I couldn't even follow this conversation. I don't even know what the fuck they were talking about the entire time.
Who are they talking to?
I already can't remember what I've said.
I don't even know.
Siren, you made notes. Siren, you made notes. Did we miss anything?
Yeah, but we've kind of like the only thing on my notes that I haven't molded about yet is the Mog Station.
The Mog Station? What?
Yeah. Because I would get a lot of flack because people are very attached to like buying things from the Mog Station. So when I complained about Shadowkeeper being on the Mog Station, people were very upset with me. But like that's the only thing. Oh, and I have written here, Square Enix is not your friend. That's also very true. So
I mean,
now I've said it.
It is hard. Again, pride and everything else, and love and emotions and everything for this game does make it very difficult to remove that to the fact that Square Enix is a company that needs to be profitable, and Final Fantasy XIV is a way to be profitable. Although we trust Yoshida as much as we can to deliver stuff that we would be happy with, because he has done a decent amount of that, and so we can take it offensively if we feel like you're telling us that Yoshida's not our friend. Right?
Yeah.
They are a company still.
Careful now.
Anyways,
Very much. I just wish they would treat the game better. That's basically carrying the whole company right now. Like, what was it like? Their fiscal report came out recently, right?
mm-hmm.
And like a lot of things are down right now, and you know, I wonder why, with such failures as Forspoken and Babylon's Fall and
what game was
Final
Babylon's
Fantasy
Fall?
as an IP is carrying the shit out of them right now, thanks to 7 and 14 and 16. But Square Enix are just dumb in general. Like they said 16 sales are bad. Meanwhile, it was console exclusive. Like I wonder why it was bad.
Well, I know why it's bad, because they had some interns use ChatGPT to come up with the dialogue in that game. It's awful.
I do want to bring up this one point, and I keep forgetting to do this. One of the big things about when you say something that is like not exactly the exact opinion or state of what other people think, right? And people will take it the wrong way. You start to find some people start to come into your chat and everything else. They're like, yeah, fuck these weak, horrible people who can't take opinions, but they also have bad takes too. The people come in that are so against these other people who are opposing your opinion. They come into your content and they bring so many of these really bad takes with them. As well.
Yeah, I mean, I'll call them out too. You know, it's not about like just sitting on one side and just like digging my heels in. You know, it's about wanting the discussion, and it's about discussing several perspectives, man. You know, it's not just this good, this bad, this should be better. Like, no you're wrong. Like, it's about.
Yeah.
Again, how many times have I said this? Like, it's wanting it to be better for everyone. And I don't think anything that's been complained about means that it would be worse for anybody in particular. Yeah. I remember one guy on a YouTube comment, and he was like, well, I don't have time to play the game, so I don't want more grindy content or stuff with replayability. Like, I don't care. It's like, okay, but like, even if you have less time to play, it just means you have more to do. And I don't think that's bad.
You know,
as an example.
Go ahead.
No, that's it. That's what.
As an example of nothing, I got you. Okay.
No. That was the example. I just got words mixed up.
I got you. No. I actually over the years I've worked a lot of jobs where I was working like 70, 80 hours, just fucking ridiculous hours, and so I was always, even though I did podcasts for Final Fantasy XIV, I did the World Race stuff. I didn't put a lot of time into a whole bunch of side content with Final Fantasy XIV. I'm eating pretty good right now that I have a little bit more time to go back and do that stuff. So I have a lot of the same, at least, appreciation for the old existing content and it being there to do, just like a lot of the Shadowbringer babies do, right? And so I can see, you know, the perspective of being completely happy with the game, but I also see the perspective of playing this game forever, already doing all side content and feeling like you have nothing to do. So there's a lot of different ways to look at, you know, these opinions and not have one person's right, one person's wrong, everything else. But I always want to make it very clear is just because if I say something that, you know, a lot of people disagree with, but you agree with it, doesn't mean I'm going to agree with the other opinions that you have that are really shitty. I just want to make that clear. I don't know how else to really say that, but I feel like that's just something I've experienced recently. I don't know how much you guys have, but that being said,
I just have my opinion, man, and that's it. Like, my opinion is my opinion. I state my opinion, and then we move on. Like,
we're looping, guys.
Let's just have a discussion and don't call names, please. Let's just talk about it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Fucking WoW player.
That's all we're asking. You don't have to
civility.
agree, but it's not an attack. We're not personally attacking you.
Yeah,
we're chilling.
And we may be a little bit, you know, when we say it, it may be like, you know, some energy to it, a little bit.
Oh yeah, I might have a little salt. That's okay.
Yeah. And it's okay as long as we all come back with stable minds and have an actual conversation. All right. Anything else that you guys want to dive into? I feel like we've hit this pretty well. And I feel like it was kind of all over the place a little bit, but we still hit a lot of the topics that I want to hit, and we know this conversation isn't going to change much about the situation overall. Just the people listening to it, everyone here, kind of just talking about it and saying, hey, we understand what's going on. And hopefully it makes us feel a little bit better in those situations, right? Now, we're not alone. We know. And all we can do is just try to make things better with these interactions. When it happens, just respond with some or some ability to come in with a level mind. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
I think this was a good therapy session.
Yeah.
Do you charge by the hour? Is that how this works?
Yeah, dude, pay me. I'll take it.
That's right. That's right, chat. Be sure to sub, all right?
Yeah.
Chat, help pay our therapy bill and check your Prime subs right now, and you can subscribe and keep these therapy sessions going because sometimes insurance doesn't cover that in the United States. So please subscribe now.
Yeah. Do crazy
us.
gift subs,
Do it
do
for
all
us.
stuff. If you're listening to this on YouTube, there you got ways to throw money at this podcast too. Patreon, go do that too. Yeah,
that's right.
I'll shill it all out, and then you guys can clip this and make me feel like a horrible player. There you go.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Nexu, what's up?
Thank you. See?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's obviously nice to vent and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, it just there doesn't have to be all this animosity. God, this sounds so pitying, but it feels quite one way. But it's because that one side is usually the one giving the opinions, and then it's the other side just attacking them for those.
Yeah,
opinions.
reacting and attacking.
It's not. There's never discussion, but at the same time, we don't sit here scouring Twitter, seeing a bad take and just going fucking essaying constantly. It's
you can't unless you got a blue check mark, huh?
Well, yeah, I guess so.
True. True.
Thanks, Musk. But, it's nice to vent, but I'm very just in the ballpark of complaining because I care, and that means complaining about other people. And that means caring about other people's experience as well. It's not me. It's us. This is a game very dear to my heart. It's a game that's changed my life in a big way. It's a game that I will always love and appreciate, and I appreciate all the hard work that goes into it. But at the end of the day, if there are problems, I'm not going to be quiet about it. Because, it's not that I think they should listen to me, exclusively, but it's because, again, I think if you complain about something, it's because you care about it, and you want it to be better. So, that's my closing words, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Todd, do you want to throw closing words in, or do you feel like...
Oh, man, I feel like I got a lot of it out.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I just kind of echoing what we're just saying here. I wish people would just, just think twice before. It's a big ask to say this and even ask this for people on Twitter and social media in general, because that's not going to end. People are just going to call names and just be rude as fuck. But I just hope that that we are coming from a place of concern and care. It's the moment that we stop talking about 14 or whatever game we're playing, the moment we stop complaining or criticizing it, that means we have stopped caring about it, and we're no longer interested. So it's you want that discussion, and please try to keep an open mind and don't just be in a little bubble, little echo chamber. Just listen to what people have to say and just pause for a second before you respond. Be well, what are the pros? What are the cons? Would this help the game? Is this a rational thought that I'm having with my response, or is it an emotionally charged one? So, yeah, man, I'm really hoping for good things for 14, and please update the friends list and the social UI, because it is hot garbage.
God, please, yeah.
Please!
That's an example of something that affects everyone, taking 10 seconds to load a friends list just isn't good enough in 2023, man.
No.
Like, just objectively. Like, you can't accept this. You can't just blindly say this is okay.
That
Like,
sucks.
this game is so far behind. Like, in terms of friends list, blacklist, like, you could divorce your EB and, like, quote-unquote cheat on them, and, like, your
so
old partner
bad.
will never know. Like, it's just basic things. Like, I get it. Square Enix are really scared of confrontation. Like, yeah, we can see that, but I think they need to have a little bit more faith in their players.
I hope that they like that's the announcement I'm looking forward to the most. Like an overhaul of like the UI and social tabs and just menus in the game and how they work. And I freaking hope that they make it like alt job friendly, like with the gearing. But that's just another discussion. Probably down the road.
Just use Discord. What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Why?
You guys don't have Discord?
I do, trust me.
Just use Discord.
Complaining about friends lists? You're a twat.
Yeah. Well, what are you doing? Why? You got? I don't experience the issues you have because I just use Discord.
What happened to you?
Yeah. Why are you guys complaining so much?
You're so toxic and aggressive.
Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed listening to us rant on a little bit. I had a lot of fun. You know, I say this a lot.
Good man.
I do these shows, and my priority is having fun with the people on the show, talking to them, and that is my focus. I hope you guys watching enjoyed it too, but just know you're second in line for my focus of people who should enjoy this. I say this after you've gifted subs and everything else.
That's right.
Yeah.
Look at all that hype.
But thank you so much for the support. You know, always appreciate it and everything else. Yeah. Go ahead, Todd. Go ahead.
I said if you fapped your Warrior Light, you should gift a sub right now.
Dude, I do not need that many. I don't need that. Oh gosh. Damn it.
Yes. 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 Yes, based. Fucking based. Fuck.
I'll just let you guys know I'm not gifted a sub.
Anonymous. Yes.
People on YouTube are like, what assholes? What clout chasing assholes?
You're welcome, Frosty.
You're welcome.
Oh god. Thanks for hanging with me, guys. Thanks everybody for watching. We are gonna wrap up the show. I appreciate everybody. And we'll try to get this on YouTube hopefully this weekend for everybody to be confused about the random noises and everything else. But you guys have been fantastic to be here. And let's do this again sometime. You know,
yes.
Just come back and have a nice little therapy. You know what? Maybe I should call this the Mog Talk therapy session. And just invite content creators to come on and just kind of have a bit to talk.
Have a rant.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that being said, follow this channel. Follow it on YouTube. Subscribe. Do all that stuff. All the wonderful things that help support. Look at the description and look at all those links. And if you haven't clicked on one of those links for the guest or the channel, then
so 5 faps.
You should do it. Yeah, that's.
All these anonymous.
You know what I should say? Just to extend this, if you guys have, I don't. You know what? Fuck it. I'm crossing the line. If you guys have fap during the show, go ahead and get this. Shit. Maybe I'm just gonna edit that out. I don't know if we need that information.
Oh, please. Base.
Yeah, man,
actually based.
Scream all the time,
if you gifted
dude.
a sub,
you got me.
If you gifted a sub, based.
All right, guys, we're going. We're bye. We'll see you later.
These gifties are tainted, man.
You guys all say bye right now. Everybody say bye.
Thanks for listening.
We're gonna raid somebody.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Alrighty,
Bye.
bye.